I like to do this by like putting my weight on my toes and then back on the balls of my feet. Like to uproot myself sometimes, to open my portal, just to remember the weight of my body. This is the time to feel into those kinks or to the spaces in our physical body that are holding some tightness, are holding conversations, are holding to-do lists, are holding anxiety, whatever you're holding, bringing some movement to that space. If you have a physical point in your body that you know you're like, yeah, this space is just like, it's holding a lot. While you're moving, give some love, placing your hand on that place. If you feel comfortable digging into that space. I like swaying to open myself, both to help me wake up, both to help me arrive. Paying attention to movements around your neck and your shoulders. Whew. The next few breaths, allowing some stillness to find you. Bringing your body to, just into some stillness. Allowing the star people to pull the crown of your head up toward them. So we're standing tall. Our chest is open to this gate. My back, there isn't so much pressure on my lower back. I'm tucking my tailbone in just a little. And if I need to bend my knees to offer some love to them, feeling free to do that during this practice. Facing the great direction of the east, we open up our hearts to you, sweet portal, house of illumination. We welcome in all the ancestors, all the plants, all the minerals, all the animal allies who want to walk with us in this great sacred direction. To the great Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, the one who brings the first light, the one who brings that first ray of light. Want to offer you a little bit of love and a little bit of a big welcome into this gathering today. Please join us in us beginning this journey into our heart, or continuing the journey into our heart for some of us. Allow us to enter this journey with hope, with resilience, and with the practice of ritual, and the practice of meeting that sacred seed. We're here to meet our sacred seed that was planted inside of us, only us carrying them. We plant prayers so that we may meet that seed within inside of us. May we meet its contours. May we meet its wholeness. May we meet a part of who we are, and may we meet the sacred work that we have been put on this earth to do. We welcome you, and welcome the spirit of child to roam with us, the spirit of xinachtli, or the deer, to roam around with us as we welcome in the East Gate. May any medicine of new beginning, the medicine of start, the medicine of first step, the medicine of the seed, of potentiality, of expansion, of life and growth, be a part of this gathering tonight. Much love, humility, and gratitude to the great sacred direction of the East Gate. We offer a word of affirmation. I say Ometeo, you might say Ashe, or thank you. Gracias, gracias. Ometeo. Ometeo to the great gate of the south, to the house of the warriors. Here we're no longer the seed. Here the guardian Huitzilopochtli looks over us, the guardian of voluntad, of what's voluntad? Voluntad is determination. We call in on the guardian determination to bring all those warriors and those rebels into this space. We walk and we come from rebels. We come from warriors that busted through their seed coat, that dared to be touched by the elements, the water, the wind, the fire, and the earth itself, so that we may see them, so that they may feed us, so that we may have hope every day, so that we may have life. And so we welcome in those guardians, those warrior guardians within our blood lineage, but also our revolution and spirit lineage, our resistance lineage, like the guardian Audre Lorde, like Toni Morrison, like Octavia Butler, like Gloria Saldua, like Harriet Tubman, like Grace Lee Boggs. We welcome in our spirit guardians, our revolution guardians, those guardians that paved the way for us to remember today. They paved the way through the writing, through the poetry, through the resistance out in the streets, but also the resistance by just existing. And so, to the great direction of the South, welcoming the warriors that walk among us. When we continue to learn from the teenagers, the youth that are warriors right now, remembering that they are the keepers of some deep warrior medicine that we have to remember. They are the ones that move from the pit of their belly, that roar when it hurts, that laugh when they need to laugh, who are depressed as depressed can be, who feel every range of emotion with such depth and such humility. And so, to the great direction of the South, we welcome in any medicine that we have to learn about our warrior spirit. With much love, humility, and gratitude to the sacred direction of the South, we offer a word of gratitude. Oh, Mateo. Oh, Mateo. Oh, Mateo, to the great direction of the West, to the house of intuition, to the house of the uncertainty. We've run this house. This is our house. This is the houses of the BIPOC beings, of those who, over the last 500 plus years, have been running for their lives, for those over the last 100 years who have been resisting in their lives and who have lived in 500 years of uncertainty, not knowing knowing that our life wasn't guaranteed, but knowing that our life had to be claimed. To the great direction of the West, we welcome in medicine from those ancestors and welcome in medicine from our lineages of medicine. And those are our queer, our trans, our two-spirit, our gender rebels, our two-spirited, and our Black trans siblings. Here, we also honor those who were taken too soon. Breonna Taylor, we honor you, Freya Martin. We offer you, George. We honor you, George Floyd. And we honor you, all of those who are on the streets right now, dying of COVID and violence and any other imbalance that has taken your life too soon. We honor you, and we call you tonight for those who have been enlightened to do the work of remembering with you and to do the work of celebrating you, celebrating your medicine and celebrating you, your kin, so that they may be celebrated, but they are still breathing. To the great direction of the West, may we remember that we are no longer the seed. We're no longer daring to live, but we have bloomed already. We have bloomed. Our fruits are everywhere. Our leaves are bright. Our colors, our flowers and veggies are super delicious. And they need to be picked and they need to be enjoyed. This is the direction of uncertainty and the direction of enjoyment. And so, to the great direction of the West, as we open up the medicine of the heart, yes, we welcome enjoyment. Yes, we welcome in celebration. Yes, may every BIPOC person on this earth feel gratitude for their existence today. They breathed another breath today. Much love, humility, and gratitude to the sacred direction of the West. We say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. To the great direction of the North, to the keeper Tetzcalipoca. Here in the North direction, guarded is the house of the ancestors. To the house of the ancestors, we come to do a very simple thing. We come to pray. We come to remember. Dear ancestors, we ask those who have been enlightened to walk with us. We ask those who have already walked to the light and can do good work with us to come, come tonight, come during this portal to join us, to help us feel nourished, uplifted, to help us integrate the medicine we are learning, to help us feel held, so that as we walk in the next couple of weeks, we can go into that medicine of the heart, that sacredness, that bridge, that holding bridge. Here, we're no longer the seed dreaming, no longer the sprout daring to bloom, no longer the plant in full bloom giving its fruits away, but we have given ourselves back, allowing our leaves to fall, turn different colors, to turn brown, like the color of the earth, brown. And we fall back into ourselves, our wisdom and our stories, going back into our roots. We are here. We are retreating. Here we remember that all beings deserve retreat. Here we are remember that all sacred beings must rest. And so, to the great direction of the North, to the ancestors, to the keepers of this direction, we want to invite that medicine of rest, invite that medicine of introspection, that medicine that is necessary during these times. With much humility and gratitude to the sacred direction of the North, we say, Oh, Mateo. Giving a full turn, raising up to the star people, maybe even put your hands up or your shoulders up, just, To the star people, the sky people, the angelic ones, and those who drop fairy dust on us, we have come here to acknowledge you. We ask you to be witness of us as the comet just passed and there's another series of meteor showers are heading our way, and many stars and hopes of possibilities and all the life forms are passing through the sky. We ask that you remind us to go out outside of you, to look at you, to remember that we are small, we are minute, and that we exist in this expansive story, this expansive dance of the universe, and that we, as an animal, have not been along for very long and probably won't be along for very much longer. And that is okay. The story of the earth is longer, the story of the earth is deeper. And so that's star people. May we remember that. And when we remember that, may we remember to that we, like you, are both made up of the same cosmic stardust that created this universe. And may we remember to look up and look down to the wisdom that's above us, look down at the wisdom that held by the minerals and the plants that will be here, or here before us and will be here after us. When we learn from their sacred ways, so that we may look up at you each time and feel lighter and feel that shininess within that carries us to the above realm. Much humility and gratitude to you, sacred keepers of the night sky, sacred keepers of the story, sacred keepers of the sacred smoke. We say, Oh, Mateo. Bringing our bodies down to earth, to Tonantzitlalli, sometimes called Tonantzitlallique, my tradition. I'm gonna stay a little raised so you can hear me. Mother, dear mother, I, as Chico, I want to present myself to the earth keepers of this land, the native earth keepers of this land. These are Mohican lands I am on. I am not from these lands. And so I humbly present myself to you every day. And I'm here to let you know that my siblings on this call are presenting themselves to the lands that they are from or they are on as well. We're here to offer a land acknowledgement, here to be in relationship with you, keepers of this land and keepers, and then the current keepers of the land too, because we know that you've been displaced from these lands. Many of you and your lineage have been displaced from these lands. I offer um, gratitude too to the Mexica, Mixteco, Zapoteco, and Burkina Fasoan hands that steward these lands too. For you feed me, I eat your food every day. To you, Great Mother, now that we've acknowledged your children, we come to acknowledge you. We don't really quite come to welcome you. We just more come to acknowledge you, give gratitude to you, and also ask for forgiveness. Dear Mother, we're here to ask forgiveness for any moment which we have walked upon your back and have forgotten that we walk upon the back of a sensate, intelligent, breathing, feeling, expansive being. Great Mother, I want to offer forgiveness for any moment which we have walked upon your back and have gossiped, misjudged, made assumptions, or held ill will towards another being, for all beings are sacred and are deserving of compassion. Great Mother, we are here to ask forgiveness for any moment which we have judged, been harsh, held ourselves to ridiculous standards, forgotten our humanity, for we too are sacred, and for we too are deserving of humility and compassion and love. Great Mother, we are here to offer our gratitude to you, offer gratitude to your waters, offer gratitude to your winds, to your body itself for holding us, to the fires that are clearing the lands so that good medicine may be planted there. We offer gratitude for your seeds. We offer gratitude to all of your earth protectors, mostly indigenous people. We offer gratitude to your heartbeat. I thank you for keeping us warm, sheltered, fed, sustained in physical and spiritual ways. Great Mother, we are here to be of service to you. So we commune with the plants and to hear a little deeper on how we can be in service to you, to hear a little deeper on how we can give back to you and give back in the generous ways that you give to us so effortlessly. Great Mother, we are here to deepen as Earth's keepers, as Earth's stewards. Please show us. Please show us what that means today. Please show us what that means to cycle. Much love, humility, and gratitude to you, Mother. We say thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my God. Sitting back, being super gentle as you raise, because our blood just moved from our head back into our bodies. Let that be a gentle and intentional process. Inhaling into your center, allowing your hands to fall over your belly, over your heart, or over a part of your, a physical part in your body that's just wanting a little extra something, something right now. Allowing that breath to move in through the nose, expanding the heart, opening up the lungs, expanding the belly, holding it, and deflating belly, deflating lungs, deflating heart. A couple more at your pace, just like that, as I move with the prayer. We begin each practice here at the center. The center is where the eye falls apart. The eye that brought on this pandemic, the eye that lets colonialism roam into our minds and sometimes our hearts, doesn't exist here. We come to forget the I and we come to remember the we at the center. For at the center live the teachings of Inlakech, the teachings that I am your other you and you are my other me. I am a piece of you and you are a piece of me. I'm a reflection of you and you're a reflection of me. And harmed and unto you is harmed and unto me. There's no such thing as their struggle. Here at the center, we remember that these are our struggles. And though I am not physically, I don't live as Black in this lifetime, I understand that Black liberation is a part of our liberation, our collective liberation. I understand that. So here at the center, we understand that, we remember that we are not free until all Black trans people, all Black queer people are free. We are not free. We are not free. We are not free until all immigrant people are free. We are not free until all people have homes and that they feel safe in. We are not free until all people have adequate food, nourishing food. We are not free until all people have clean water. We are not free until institutions that were built on our oppression are built on our subjugation are dismantled. We are not free until we get to imagine a world together, a world where we holds justice for all of us, where our hearts are held, and there's room for grief. We are not free until we join hands together. And so here at the center, we remember that we are doing this work together, that we, whatever point, pedacito point of the struggle that we are resisting from, housing justice, gender rights, Black Lives Matter, movement for Black lives, organizing, land justice, whatever we're resisting, whatever point we're resisting, knowing that we are part of a we. We are part of a massive movement to reclaim our soul, reclaim our ancestors, reclaim our lands, and reclaim so we may reimagine, recreate communities that actually feed us, communities that actually hold us, communities that can actually hold loving feedback, communities that can hold all of us. To the great direction of the center, we offer loving taps or loving rubs of gratitude by saying our word of affirmation as we like rub that space. I'm rubbing my heart right now, saying thank you, thank you, thank you. Down. Coming out of the center, however you feel, whenever you're called, allowing your hands to fall to your knees, maybe your legs. Inhaling in a couple more times. Exhaling out. Maybe you got to tend to your fire again, your blessing herb if you've got that going. Today, I'm going to really encourage you to lean into your elements, the elements in front of you, these keepers of the space in front of you. You're feeling tenderness, bringing that water, that bowl of water, that cup of water to your hands to help the water hold that. You're feeling any kind of feeling, really, just get the water to hold that. But if you're feeling like you need fire, like you need to remember that creative self, like you need to remember that power, your power, you need to remember your voice, something that you're forgetting, bring the fire towards you. Bless yourself up each throughout our gathering. And so, welcome, welcome to we're in module 5. We're in 5 um 5 months of gathering. I can barely believe it. This is our midway point. I think this is just about half more sessions, like half of the amount of sessions we got left that we have left. Um, it's a really magical time, and today we've been blessed, at least on the lens, the Nape Mohican lens that I'm on, we've been blessed with La Lluvia de Brujas, it being sunny and still raining. It's just a magical time to cast spells and a magical time to cast prayers. And so I want you to know that we're open the directions in these portals during a really magical time. And we have a lot of birds visiting us here. And so today, before we enter our journeys into the heart space, we've spent a couple weeks not together. I've gotten the opportunity to read some of your shares. Some of your ancestor foods were shared with the group, and we got to like eat them, with the visual lens, and that was really beautiful. For our opening circle, our talking circle, we're sharing our name, our pronoun, the lens we're on. You know the drill. You know the how we run here. Um, and you're welcome to share what's on your heart. Any plants that are supporting that process. If you weren't with us last time and want to connect more with like your power, how you've been experiencing your power, feel free to do that. If you want to share more about making that ancestor dish with yourself, or the plant that you've been allying with, the digestive plant, because that was a task for us all to ally with the digestive plant. Feeling free to share more about that journey. Some of you have been reaching out to me a lot more this last cycle. The solar plexus is bringing up a lot for us around food and our imbalances to food. A lot of grief, a lot of rage, and a lot of like a lot of yumminess too. And so really want to make space during this talking circle for you to share bits of that too if you need to. So taking a moment to just experience some silence before we go into the circle. Opening up the circle to you all to share. I'm gonna do some housekeeping things like plug in my laptop. So I'm gonna move around for a little bit. I'm still listening, I promise.
I can start. I'm Chanel. I use they, them, we, us pronouns. I'm on Lenni Lenape, Susquehanna, Iroquois land, so called Philadelphia. It's been interesting. I'm just changing my profile. I feel a little scatterbrained today, so I think I'm gonna hold a rock to like help me ground. It's been really great working through solar plexus things. I realized that I was also holding a lot of stagnant grief around like community. And for me, like community is so tied to my creative practice because I'm a dancer and like we do that shit together. It is not a solo practice at all. that's boring. And so I built like really strong dance community, and but also moved out of that community, and I was just kind of like by myself. Anyway, it was deep. It hurt, and it was like years of hurt that I didn't really that I knew I was feeling, but it I don't know, it just there was a lot of clarification around that. And so like moving through understanding that like I wasn't dancing because I was grieving. I didn't really put that together at first. Um was really like important, and I think is helping me like have this like natural urge to create and to dance and to I do a bunch of other shit, and I've definitely been in the um artsy brain space, which feels so healing and so like fireful in a good way. Um, Also been engaging with some really healthy conflict with friend groups that has been sitting and ruminating for years. um, and I don't know if it's bringing me closer to the community, but it is bringing me closer to clarity and like how I want to move and how I want to be in relationship with people and who I want to be in relationship with. So I feel like that's all solar plexus. Like that's we're working together to get it going. I like worked out this morning. I did my full body yoga, and that was cool. Like to really want to do that, you know, because I was never trying to do that. I was not trying to do that. But yeah, I made some curry chicken soup. That shit was wild. The shit was good as fuck. It was like my aunt Vivi with me making that meal because I was like, whoa. I never learned how to make chicken, curry chicken. I did it the first time I did it was in Brazil. I was like, I'm not, where the fuck am I? But tonight's curry chicken. And this is the second time I'm cooking it I'm at home now, but it was fucking delicious. And I fed my ancestors and they were like, mm. So yeah, I'm feeling scatterbrained, but I feel I have my rock and I'm feeling really good. So I'm happy to see y'all.
Thanks, Chanel. Hi, everyone. Wooly here. They, them pronouns. I am on Wampanoag, Ponkapoag, Massachusetts, and Black Liberator lands. My heart feels like we're beating really fast, and today has been yeah, the past 2 weeks have been pretty heavy on my heart. And I've been crying a lot today. And I'm already like trying to downplay like the feelings. So just want to say that. But I'm in a polyamorous relationship. And I don't know if any of you are, I know a few of you are in here, familiar with polyamory. COVID and polyamory are really fucking hard. So hard. Trying to make it, y'all. So I love my partner really much, very much. And we spent the past, since COVID started, like 5 months now together, which was like, we just felt like the the easiest choice for us, and still really hard, in that we were sacrificing our like poly lives and choosing to be with each other. But over the past month, we've just like been examining and trying to figure out like what does it mean to get back to like that part of us that we feel really is just essential to our relationship. And so it's been difficult, and it culminated in today just us parting ways for a few weeks or a month to engage in, you know, our other love lives and to explore some poly things, which is like, yeah, like I know that that's like healthy, and that part of what I appreciate about poly is that it calls me to grief over and over again, attachments that can sometimes be hard, and to surrender to trust in the sacred, and that shit's like hard as hell. It's like that's cute, but like the practice of it is really, really hard. So just saying goodbye today was hard, and yeah, I'm sitting with that. I'm sitting with a heavy heart. My heart has literally just been in pain all day, and knowing that like it's gonna be okay, trusting in that. But like, so grateful to have you all tonight, to have some holding and to get into the heart plexus. That's what the heart plexus, yeah, because I need it, and I need some rose. Yeah, appreciate you all. That's it.
Huli, thank you for sharing that. A lot of it's really relatable. I'm Afra, she, her pronouns. Toying with they, not sure about that, but it's starting to make a little more sense. Coming from Massachusetts, Ponkapoag, I'm so fuzzy right now. Wampanoag and Black Liberator lands. Yeah, like Huli, everything you said, literally, yes. I am married to a cis man. We've been together for almost 9 years, and I love him a lot, and it's fucking weird to be who I'm allowing myself to be and be married. And it's been becoming really obvious in ways that I've been trying to hold together, but it's not working. And I'm finding myself really falling for a partner who was a friend and is becoming a lover, and like I feel so full in my queerness with them, and my spirituality, and they are so open to plant medicine in the way that this person I've been with for almost 9 years just like doesn't get. And yeah, I'm gonna break a heart really badly, and I'm still numb to that because I'm trying to just like work up to it. But 9 years, I'm 32, so 9 years is more than a quarter of my life that I'm preparing to uproot. And I know the feelings will come, they're just not there yet. And yeah, polyamory is weird in these days, and love is weird, and liberation is weird. Sex is weird. I love it all, but it's a lot. And I was working with Oat Straw briefly. It didn't feel super right for me, and I think I think they were a transition point for me to get me through this week. I think also they were being brought to me so that I could share them with this new person who really like is finding them supportive. And I'm continuing to look for where to go next with plants. Ashwagandha has been calling to me for a while, and I'm a little nervous, but I think they'll be next. I've been working with cedar as my blessing herb this whole time, but I'm feeling like I might move back to rose, which is a familiar ally and might be like a helpful support through this big ass transition. Okay, thank you all.
Hi everybody. There's a loud plane. I'm Anju, they and them pronouns, and I'm on. Can you hear me okay? Maybe if I'm a little closer. Okay. Anju, they them pronouns on Dakota lands and Anishinaabe lands, so-called Minneapolis. Thank you. I feel like these sharings are like hitting me somewhere, and in a different way. My heart feels so melty and like tender and watery, and it's like spilling all over the place. I recently opened my heart to someone, and it's like being received for the first time in like a really, really long time. And I've like never felt this way before. And I'm just like really feeling like so like, I don't even have words. Like I can't even like process it yet. And I'm just like so overwhelmed. But yeah, they just like, this person like sees me. It feels like this person sees me as like a person that I've been like aspiring towards, and a lot of that is like through the like things that I've been aspiring towards and things that have led me to this space, and things that intersect with it and with you all. So that just feels so wild, and I feel like I'm able to lean into that version of me that I'm like growing into and like building towards through their eyes in a way. And so that feels really wild. And I feel like I'm creating, like I make music, and I've been thinking differently about how I want to create, and I've just never felt this way, and my heart is like just feels physically like watery and oozing out, and it's like I have to like keep like Sochi, when you were doing this, I was like, yeah, I gotta like keep like bringing it back and like stuffing it back in, or letting it ooze if it needs to. But that's been just like wild, and I don't think I ever imagined this happening. Like I have a lot of like undesirability complex, like I can't have this type of thing like deeply rooted in me, and I feel like it's been a long process of up like examining my roots and like untangling and rerouting my roots, and this just kind of feels like something that like grew from there, and it's just wild. So I'm in that place, and I think when I was in like the big crush, I'm still when I was entering the big crush place, I was working with oat straw to like soothe me, and then also Damiana was like opening. It was like a simultaneous like opening and also soothing that I had to like balance at once. So I was working closely with both of them at the same time, and so I'm interested to see where I'll be called next. And I've also really been thinking about like expansiveness in a lot of different ways. I think like since for a while I've been thinking about this, but I feel like since the uprisings, and because everything feels so loaded in these times, like I feel like I'm feeling big hard feelings like grief and fear, and then also big like joy and like love feelings, and I've been doing a lot of like heart opening and hip opening stretches, and I feel like I'm like building some sort of internal expansiveness that's able to hold all of it, and it's like I'm able to hold the deep pain and like grief that I've been moving through, and also like this deep oozy crush and other types of joy and wonder and pleasure. So I'm really grateful for this, what's where we're at in this journey. I think, yeah, I just feel like it's conducive to this like this moment that I'm in, and this like I feel like I'm being like told, like I physically feel like my heart is opening. And I noticed that when I go for a walk near this creek that I live by, I feel my like I have friends who are like who I really admire, who I feel like are plant oriented beings in ways that I've like been working towards. And I think when I'm in outdoor spaces with them, I see, and we go into this creek or woods or anything, like I see like a physical opening, and I watch their hearts kind of like open up physically as they're moving through these spaces. And I've like started feeling that instinct, which is really exciting. And I'm feeling like a physical heart opening when I'm around like plant ancestors, and I feel my heart open. Um, physically, my like shoulders like instinctually move back, and that's like a big feeling too. So body things, heart things, crush things, pain too, and just all of it at once.
I can go next. Thank you, y'all, for these shares. Yeah, I've been resonating also with a lot of what folks are saying. I missed the last gathering, so I'm really glad to be back here with folks. I had an incredibly hard time connecting with the last module. It brought up some things and my body was like, nope, we're not doing this right now. Plus I was moving at the same time. A move that has now become semi-permanent, and so it was just a lot going on. So I'm really glad to be back here with folks. In the last month, I've continued to work with Nettle, which has been super supportive lately, and also was working with Lemon Balm, which has been, I didn't know why I kept working with them. And then I went back and read the plant profile and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Not ready to deal with these things, but you're still going to support with them. Got it. So that was really like a nice surprise. And alongside that, I've been able to connect with my creativity a lot more. The way I'm expressing my creativity right now is writing. And I've been having a really hard time doing that consistently. And for the last month, I've been able to do it more consistently than pretty much ever in my life, which has been really lovely. At the same time, been dealing with a lot of really intense anger around just kind of what's happening in the world. I miss my family, I miss my friends, I want to be able to hug them. My family is really, really scattered. Some folks are in Atlanta, some folks are in Massachusetts, some are in London. And I haven't seen any of them in a really long time. And that is frustrating and saddening, and like I'm absolutely gonna stay my ass at home until it's safe for everybody to go visit these folks. But then I go to a grocery store where it says masks required and folks are in there just like fucking around without their masks, and I'm like, well, that pisses me off. So I've been trying to do productive things with that anger, or just let myself feel it. I don't know. And then also have been dealing with a fair amount of fear. I get vivid dreams in waves, and the last month or so has been a wave of vivid dreams but not remembering them. And then maybe a week ago I had a dream, or a few days ago actually, I had a dream about one of my siblings dying, and woke up and was like, oh shit. It was a kind of dream where you wake up and you don't know what's real for like a long time, and so that threw me way off. And this is one of the siblings who lives really, really far away, so she's fine. Checked in on her, but I can't see her anytime soon. I'm probably not going to see her for the next year, maybe two. And that was just kind of another blow. So sitting with all those feelings and looking forward to working with Rose and the other herbs in this module for support. So glad to be here with you.
Hey y'all, this is Kale, they, them, in Muncie, Lenape lands, and Canarsie lands, Brooklyn, New York. I guess as a service worker in pandemic, it's been very hard just in general for me not to like feel just the resonance of like class warfare, just like echoing all around me in every element of life, and it's created like some tension with other folks in my life, and then just the idea of quarantining I've like abandoned, and I think it's also led to like a feelings of like lack of control over like my space and where I'm at, and like my limitation of movement from the city, and like I don't know, it's just made me feel like this is just like all the like pieces of the genocide like clicking into place, and I'm just like a little cog in it, and there's like nothing I can do about it. So then I think within that also like the deeper work that I do or have been doing is this kind of like time traveling work of like literally like communicating with ancestors on the land that I stand on, which I've been sharing publicly for the first time, and like really publicly for the first time since coming into this work, which has led to like a lot of really heavy kind of considerations about like who is and isn't ready for the work, and like just even explaining it and why it's important and kind of calling people into it. But I mean, like, whenever I try to like walk away from it, it just like hits me. It's like I'm always like I can't stop time traveling. It's making me feel absolutely insane. I tried to go for a walk in the park with somebody who's like a new person that I'm kind of like, oh, a new person in my life who's also like doing a lot of spirit work. And we tried to go for a walk in Prospect Park, which is like the main park in Brooklyn. And like as soon as we walked into an entrance that I don't usually go into, and it's in this neighborhood that's black. Flatbush Prospect Lefferts Gardens is like the gentrified name for the neighborhood. And I'm like, I know that this is named after a plantation. Theoretically, I just haven't like done a lot of deep work to look into the specific neighborhood. And I've been like, okay, we walk into the fucking park that like, thousands and thousands of people go into. I go into all the time. It's a huge park. And right there is this house that's like a house museum. And it's, it's closed down, but like you can walk around it. There's like grounds and everything like that. And they're like, this is the Prospect Manor. And I'm like, wait, this is the plantation house built by slaves. But for the, like, and I was just there, like, I just walked into it. So like I went back, like did some ceremony, and like probably I'm gonna go back and continue to do ceremony, but it's just like, just all this evidence is like right here. And I feel like I'm being like handed the keys to all this information and like handed over these stories, and like just kind of like trying to deal with also just giving like a lot of my spirit to just service stuff, just like receiving a lot of abuse from people who are frustrated with the situation, but while exposing myself to the virus. So I'm just like, death is like always around me, and just like, oh. So yeah, in terms of protection, I've been working a lot more. I've been working with yarrow, garlic, sage, but I've been just totally out of whack, out of practice. Like everything has felt like it's very hard for me to do like any kind of practice at all. So honestly, I'm just kind of participating as much as I can, but it's not that's not good.
Hi, I'm Michelle. They, them, calling in from Massachusetts, Wampanoag, Ponkapog, and Black Liberator lands. Um, it's been rough. I feel you, Kel. Like, I had a structure in place and routine, and I had my daily practices, but there's just been a lot of transitions lately, so I'm just not really in my element, I guess. But I think most recently I've just been having like a lot of like body dysmorphia things come up. Um, and I think they've been like triggered by like the medical industrial complex. Um, so like at first I was like, maybe I should, rest. I was like on the hammock and I was like, maybe I should skip out on this gathering because I just want to sleep. But I felt called to just come in and just show up as I can. Because I recently went to the doctor and I guess either COVID or just my whole existence fucked up my heart. So I'm dealing with like health issues with the heart. And I don't know, I haven't really processed it because I think it's still anger. I'm like, was it COVID or was it grief? And was it everything going on that my heart just can't take it? But I'm trying to navigate that and I don't know, it's rough. And when I get like this, I just shut down emotionally. Um, and that's how I am, but I'm not trying to like ghost out on everyone that I know as I used to do because that's not the move either. So just thanks for showing up and being honest about where you're at because I'm like, oh, okay, I feel less, I don't know, flighty when I do this. So I'm just here and thanks.
Hi, dear ones. I'm really holding everyone and hearing a lot. I'm holding the immensity of joy and heartache and pain that we are sharing and feeling. I'm Alicia. I use she, her pronouns. I'm on Wabanaki and Abenaki lands, the Don land. And my words feel a little far away, and I think I also just feel like, wow, I'm feeling like a wow, and thank you everyone so much for your sharing and for your vulnerability. Just holding a lot of power and grace in all of you and in us and in this space. I think that, yeah, I think my heart has been a bit heavy. I relate to with having a really hard time grounding into ritual, grounding into practices. And I've been just sitting with also, I'm actually not sure where this belongs, but I guess, what is this, the diaphragm? Like here, that since some years ago, having like a core relationship, like having traumatic memories surface in a core relationship, like I've had basically like pain there for years. And so it kind of feels like a place too that is like maybe in between, or maybe touched by, it feels very much touched by the heart, and the work that we're entering into. And also, I don't know, maybe by the solar plexus work too. So I guess just holding into that, and really I've been working a lot with Rose, and I'm on the ocean, which is such a healing space for me, but there's so much rose here that grows on the ocean waters. So working with Rose in those ways. And sweetly, I had made like my first elixir just a month ago. It's on 7/10, so I have my first elixir here from the ocean rose. So it's sweet, that's just a month ago. So maybe it's a way to kind of honor and hold us and hold this moment that this sweet rose is maybe ready today. And so I'm just here, and thankful and grateful.
Can go next. Jeannie, she, her, calling from Wampanoag, Punkapaug in Massachusetts and Black Liberator lands. These past few weeks, let me know how long it's been. I guess 2 weeks since I last saw folks. Has been so much. And I almost didn't come to the session today because of something that was happening with work right before. And I was so filled with rage that I just felt so ungrounded that I couldn't be present. And I'm so glad that I listened to being called to be in this space right now, because seeing everybody's faces and voices and being here is already pulling me away from that rage and grounding me. In my last update or last session, I shared with folks who were on the call that I got invited to go to a interview for medical school, and these last 2 weeks I went, and it went really, really well. So that has been some joy and light and some hope about things that, amongst things that feel really uncertain right now. And at the same time, in that same week of going to this interview, I had a medical kind of emergency, and it was really scary, and a lot of things went on in my head in that moment. My body, and how to keep my community safe, living with folks who were immunocompromised, the interview, and in that moment that I had this medical emergency, my work, my boss was very, I just felt lots of harm from her. She questioned my medical emergency and asked me why I didn't tell her earlier, and told me I was being mysterious and basically accused me of lying. And in conjunction with like going to a medical school interview that week, she also accused me of not being transparent and also like lying about my like going to an interview. And so that was layered there. And while this was happening, there's some deeply hard community things have come up in my living situation. I live with all QT USC, and in this intentional community that I'm so grateful for, and it's just been falling apart since COVID, where it's really bringing to light and to our surfaces how our needs are just so much in conflict with each other, and it's feeling so hard to think about and balance how we can create this community support each other when people's direct needs and direct supports just completely can't. And of 6 people who live with each other, 3 people are moving out, and that's just been so heartbreaking. So much harm and violence has been happening, and trying to hold that while also feeling like harm and violence has been done towards me. And I was holding all this going into my interview, and I felt so unprepared for it, and feeling so jumbled. I turned to some plant ancestors and allies, and before my interview, I sat with epazote and cedar and linden for an hour or so, and I think that brought me lots of, I don't even know, brought me something. And I think it meant so much to me because I think I've deeply struggled with trying to practice and connect with plant ancestors, and in that moment I really did feel like I was being held, and that their magic in being present with me was there. So I think I want to keep practicing and being in like allyship and partnership with epazote and cedar. And I think I'm really looking forward to what this module might bring for our heart. Feeling like I really need it because I feel like my heart has been breaking so much with community lately. And I think I'm also using, I really like Andrew using words coming to me. Heart is using like new feelings, new love. And I'm curious how this new module can support me in that. I feel like I'm rambling. So thank you for holding me. That's all.
Hi, everyone. I can go next. I want to start off by saying I'm super grateful and appreciative of everyone's vulnerability and just being really open. I'm Amy, and I'm on Tongva lands in Los Angeles County, California. And I entered gathering today just feeling kind of blah. But I think a more accurate word is kind of numb. And I'm still trying to figure out if that's like a defense mechanism. But I think as I'm listening and holding holding space for folks on this call, it's helping me actually open up and actually helping me feel a little better, a little less alone. And so as I was thinking about what to share, I'm going to try to be a little bit more open as well, is I've been trying to work, with the solar plexus center of energy, especially in this past week. So I've really connected to dandelion. Out of all the plant ancestors, that's been the one that's really kind of had hold on me. And as we're moving through the year, my husband and I, we belong to this association, a professional association for therapists. And we've been associated with this group for maybe going on a decade. So it's been a long time. And it's a very homogenous group of white professionals. I've never felt comfortable, but I felt I needed to be there. I felt I needed to insert myself in spaces like this. And so, especially after all the uprisings and a lot of the traumatic things that have happened with our relations in the community, we found ourselves in leadership positions. And my husband's actually the first person of color to lead this organization. So I think there's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of doubt. I'm kind of thrust into this place that's outside my comfort zone, where I'm asked to speak on cultural issues that I don't think this group has ever been really open to hearing, for as long as this association has been around. And so this is kind of like where I was like, I need to tap into this power. I need to tap into my voice, which actually comes, I know it's going to come a little later. So I was like, I got to get on this, I'm pulling all like my yellow items. I'm, drinking my dandelion, and I'm saying these things. And I find myself having to filter what I actually feel and say about being a person of color. And so once I say things or I write things, I actually recently submitted an article about decolonizing psychology, which is the profession I'm in. And I was like, is this too radical? Is this weird? Should I be asking and should I be suggesting these things? But there's another side of me, especially after kind of working with dandelion and really just kind of going through the self-practice and all that. I'm like, I have like this dialogue with myself. Like, there's that part that has a history of historical trauma and colonization of the Philippine lands. And there's the other part of me that's like, no, like, your voice matters, this is your truth. And so I'm saying these things and I'm like, I'm doubting it at the same time. So I don't know if there's a little bit of maybe overwhelm and I'm kind of withdrawing a little bit. So I'm not sure if that's where that numbness is coming in. But I'm super grateful for the plant ancestors that are helping me through this, because at least in our little association, our little group, the very small number of people of color who are part of this association like have this opportunity. So I'm just listening. I'm listening, checking in with myself, and I guess I need to withdraw sometimes to kind of gain clarity. So yeah, so a little excited about it, but maybe it's a little much at times, and I just have to pause and like just kind of listen to whatever messages are out there. So yeah, thank you.
I'll go. Can y'all hear me? I'm like far away from my computer. Okay. So I just want to say, Amy, that I think that work sounds so necessary, and I really related to what you said about feeling numb. When you said that, I like had this like, oh ding, that's what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. Since work finished up, I think I mentioned that I had been doing summer camp, and it was really rough and stressful. And yeah, for the last couple of weeks, but I don't know if it's completely numbness. It's like building up like a protection, like bark, I guess, like, you know, like a roughness to protect ourselves from all this bullshit. But yeah, I definitely, like, I haven't been, like, I felt so grateful for y'all for sharing the range of emotions that you all have been sharing, because they're emotions that I've been ignoring within myself. But so like this phone call has been kind of like a roller coaster, because it's like we're like going from like this, you know, these first loves, and like the emotion behind that, and the emotion with like relationships ending and beginning, and this grief, and I'm starting to feel overwhelmed by all of it. And then it's just like, no, I can't like handle that right now. So that's a lot to sit with. I thank you all for sharing all that so that I could feel a little something tonight. Oh, I totally forgot. I'm Mel. I'm on Anishinaabe, Mishawaki, Potawatomi land, so-called Detroit. What was the other thing? Totally went straight into feelings. I've been working with ginger and mint, and I was gifted some Tulsi, and I'm like loving Tulsi. I've been doing like ginger with Tulsi, and it's just been like helping me. I like my stomach is really messed up, so like I need that a lot. And it's like moving stuff around in my body. But yeah, now I'm gonna start rambling. Yeah, I'm just happy to see y'all. It's nice. It's nice to be in a room with like us. I don't know. But yeah, really happy to be here. Rose is also here. My roses are still blooming. I don't know if that's my mom. I was telling my mom, and she's like, "That's so interesting that your roses are still blooming." And I'm like, "I don't know, Mom, but yeah." But Rose is here too. I'm done.
Hey everyone, can y'all hear me? Yeah, Leilani here, they, them pronouns, on Wampanoag, Punkapoag, Massachusetts land for 20 more days. Um, it's been really, I feel, first I just want to thank everyone for their shares. I don't know if it's because I have rose oil with me today too and like on my skin, but I really felt like I went through a lot of emotions with you and like was feeling like the joy and excitement and like love and also like pain and like wanting to cry for like many different reasons. And so just like, yeah, thank you all for taking me on that journey, which I think was necessary. I've really been kind of all over the place. I shared last time that I was quitting my job. So that happened. And it feels great. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where I knew it was going to be awesome. And this past week of not working that job has been like incredible. Just the amount of time that I have to like put towards like creative projects and like connecting with people that I like couldn't connect to, because I was just like preserving all of the little bits of energy that I had just to get through like another work day. And it's also been really great to see like little report backs from the community farm that I had started with community members, and people are taking care of it, which I knew they would, you know? So it's like great. I got a report back today that people were there harvesting and there were some kids out there playing Pokemon cards, which I didn't even know kids still play Pokemon cards, and I played Pokemon cards, so I'm like, yes. So it's really great. So I sent that letter. I think I told some folks about, or maybe I mentioned in the last meeting, and was feeling like that was me stepping into like my power and really thinking and spending the time to share what needed to be shared, and not because it was about me, but because like I care about the people who are currently there and about the people who will be there in the future, and really identifying like what are the issues of that workplace, and also like really thinking about like what are some concrete actions that people can take that aren't going to solve them but will like at least open up the space so that people who are feeling harmed in the workspace can like start to share that harm. And I had like everyone that like helped me write that letter look it over, because I wanted to make sure that by sending it I wasn't compromising anyone's just like comfortability in that job. And yeah, I feel like it really kind of fell flat, unfortunately. I feel like I got a lot of generic responses that were just like, thank you for your feedback, good luck on your next chapter in life, including like my executive director responding saying like, I had no idea how unhappy you were, and there were many opportunities for us to like talk about it, and I wish you would have talked about it with me. And I was like, it's not one, I never said I was unhappy. That's not even the point of the letter. And like part of the letter talks about how like there is not that welcoming environment to talk about the issues because people just like shoot you down. And I feel like that really kind of makes me, I feel frustrated, honestly. And I mostly feel frustrated for like the young people that are working there. Like they have a teen program, and I worked with the teens, and the stories that they shared with me and like how sad that they were feeling, and just like feeling no passion in community organizing, which is like, I feel like it's a passion. And I was like, wow, we're really not doing this well if young people are not feeling like they can make a difference or that their voices are being heard. So I've just been checking in with them to make sure it's okay. One of my youth just had a baby, and her baby is so beautiful. So that's really celebratory for us right now. Yeah. And plants that I've been working with, also a lot of Tulsi. I've been working with Tulsi very differently. Haven't really been consuming Tulsi, but I have so much dried Tulsi flowers. And so I've just been getting the seeds out, and sharing those with folks. So that's been feeling really great. It's like one of my morning routines is to wake up and sit on the back porch with a coffee and listen to a podcast and process Tulsi seeds, which feels really good. yeah, I've just been like saying goodbye to people. I'm really, really, really bad at saying goodbye. So I do a lot of like hanging out, social distance hanging out, and talking about like a bunch of stuff. And then at the very end being like, I'm really gonna miss you, and like get like really hot eyes, and then have to be like, okay, this is awkward. I'm feeling uncomfortable. Let's just not talk about it anymore. So yeah, I'm excited to transition to like a different place. And I'm also grieving the community that I've built here and has like supported me. Yeah. Thanks, y'all.
Anyone else would like to share in the chat or out loud before I do my share? Feeling free to unmute yourself.
Sure, I'll share. I think I'm gonna do, can you all hear me? I think I'm gonna do like half and half, if that's okay. Like half talking, half typing. Yeah, this is Tara saying she pronouns on Cowlitz Clackamas land and the land of other bands of Chinook and Kalapuya. And yeah, I think I'm gonna like just type it in. Forgive me, it's gonna be a little slow, but I also just wanna share that I feel so held and seen by everyone and their words. And also I feel, yeah, I see you all, hearing you all, and like really appreciating the vulnerability. And I don't know, I guess it just like lines up, I feel like, with this module with the heart. Like there's all this, I feel like all this process going on in that area. So let me just switch real quick to the chat.
I'll read as you share. I'm really manic, but need to date it with chamomile. Questioning my sexuality. Am I ace or am I not into cis men? LOL, the eternal question. I'm married but falling for someone else. And I like my whole life. I feel like my whole life is falling apart in a really scary and beautiful way. So much anxiety in my heart and chest. And it's bringing up a lot of shame for my past and abandonment issues. I'll have more updates in the next meeting, I'm sure. I'm Sachikoa. I live from all pronouns. I've been actually really enjoying she and ella recently, and cariño. I'm a Mohican and Lenape lands. I'm in my home. Something I have to say often. It's not just the structure of home, but I think it's like home, right? Like home. I have a whole situation happening in my eye. I got like something stuck earlier because I was moving a little too fast with the young people. My programming with this summer was supposed to, aka I wasn't supposed to do programming this summer with youth. I ended up being pulled into it miraculously and magically. It was supposed to end on Friday and didn't. Instead, we had like a leadership meeting and it ended today, which was not the way I would have like dreamed of it because I'm connecting with you all. And it means I don't get to do my rituals of that day. And I sat with my water, like when I sent you the message, I was like, yeah, we're meeting 15 minutes later. I looked into the water and I saw a lot of tears. I was like, I'm not ready for that. I didn't spend my whole day like preparing for that and tapping into that energy. And so I spent a little bit of extra time sitting into it. Numb isn't quite the word for me today of where my heart has been. It has felt sort of maybe like the roller coaster of this call, right? Like I've been, since we've gathered last, like I felt the expansion of existing, and like I am affirming that every breath is medicine. Like I deserve every breath. I know I've gotten to see young people realize, they pulled out hundreds of people for this march that we publicized for like 5 days, right? Like they just streamed it up, they're like, why? Because we believe in it. I'm on the opposite spectrum, and I would love to connect, Leilani, with the organization that you're with, at least with the youth programming part of it. Because like young people are so inspiring, and this organization is doing something really right with them. I felt like I did nothing. They kept thanking me today, and I was like, I didn't really do anything. You all did all this magical stuff and gave me, hope every day. There was all of that, and so today is exactly a month that I've lived on the land that I live on. And I didn't think it was going to bring up all this grief and sadness that I haven't been feeling actively for a couple of weeks. And today I was in talk therapy in the morning and was crying like the day I left Boston the same way. I was like, what is this? I didn't know I felt this sad, and yeah, I think they'll probably identify as a person that's going through a breakup for a long time. Probably even when I'm partnered, or whatever happens next in my love story. Because it's just, I was talking to a therapist about it. It was like, my heart is like, one, I want to say to folks whose lives are falling up, if we feel like whose lives are falling apart, through all the falling apart that I've done these years, I literally was in an active breaking up process for maybe a year and a half, and it was really painful. Of just knowing that our lives had changed so much, and they didn't know how to say it, or they didn't know that that's what happened, but I knew that that's what happened, and I knew that's where we were headed. And so as my life fell apart, I just kept having the phrase of like, things sometimes need to fall apart so they can come back together better. And so I want to remind you of that. And I have to remind myself of that a lot these days, because things are better. I like had some friends visit me this weekend, and it was really beautiful, and they were coming from Boston, and they were so anxious, and I was like, yo, y'all are talking about time and what's next. You just saw a fucking heron fly above you. You just saw a hummingbird eat from basically your hand because you were sitting right next to that flower. You just saw a bald eagle. Like, these sightings for me, like, they're not casual. I mean, they're casuals and they happen pretty much every day in my life now, but they're not casual as in like, they're magic. Like, they're just so magical. And I lived for so long, I realized accepting a reality of suffering, or accepting a reality of like less magic than I deserved. And now that I'm experiencing the magic that I deserve, I just can't go back. I can't go back. And so tonight I'm holding sort of that grief that's come up for me, and that longing that's come up for me for my ex-partner.
and just realizing like, yeah, I really miss this human, and I miss the laughter, and I miss the beauty. And I also, that's just not where it's at right now. If having that means giving this up, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it, because I deserve this magic right now. And yeah, I'm feeling my heart. I'm feeling my heart in a different way than I have felt it the last couple of weeks. There's more nuances to each feeling, and there's a lot of feelings, kind of like our shares. And I look forward to just being here every time we get together. I look forward to being here with you all. I love you. I'm gonna check out. We're gonna transition into a 5-minute no talking situation. So your camera can go off. You can put yourself on mute. You could go warm up your rose or figure that out situation, or just sit. If you have honey and you're feeling extra tender, whatever that means to you. I don't want to, give more language to it. If you have honey or maple syrup or something sweet to be with, I would bring that with you to just like be a part of this experience. See you in 5 minutes. Drink water, and if you don't have a bowl of water and you're feeling a lot of tenderness, grab that water. See you soon. I'm gonna read your chat situation. coming back in a minute or so. Getting yourself all comfortable wherever you are. We already have the medicine of Rose working through us. Those shares are rooted in Rose. Letting me know that you're back in the next minute before I begin on the chat. It'd be beautiful. You don't have to do your video, but just letting me know. Aquí or here. Sweet. However it is that you want to receive tonight, with your video on or off, feeling free to do that. We're going to get started with this meditation with Rose. Holding that magic cup of yours, that mug of yours. We're going to begin with them at our heart, our physical heart. And so most people's hearts are as big as their fists, and they're at the left side of their chest. So I place my mug there. Just like we begin breathing. Knowing that the water and the fire are holding the emotions of everyone else. So right now we don't have to hold anyone. Right now it's just about this heart connecting with the heart of this plant ancestor. Letting our ripples dance. Noticing how your heart is feeling with having them on you. Noticing if there are any parts of your body are responding to having them near you. Noticing the feelings that are arising or state of being that you're experiencing. Inhaling into the nostril, the next breath, bringing them closer to your face so their aromas rise to your nose. Noticing their color, beginning with that sight, with that sense first. Does their color invoke anything in you? Is their color what you anticipated when you began creating them? Next breath, inviting them into communion. We're here to get to know each other. We're here to learn how we can be in better service to the natural world, which this plant ancestor is a part of, and they're here to teach us about that. We're here to learn the medicine of the natural world, and we're here to know how the natural world wants to care for us and remind us of our naturalness. And so, dear Rose, we're here to hear the medicine we're needing from you. What are we needing to hear? What are we needing to be present with? Feeling free to take them into your mouth. The next breath. Noticing their weight. Are they thick, light, watery? Do they evaporate? What's their story? What does their body weight tell you? Noticing their taste. This next gulp, follow where they're going to. So take them in, follow where the liquid literally is going. Where is it spreading? Where is it sitting? Do they make it to your belly? Do they stop at your lung? Do they get stuck in your throat? You feel them out on your toes. Feeling free to continue to sip, remembering to breathe. Take it slow. If they are too astringent or like drying of the tongue, feeling free to add water or honey to them just a little bit. Today we're working with the tongue drum on our journey. and exhaling. Noticing how your body feels. What's physically going on for your body? Feeling free to bring in another breath, another gulp. Another part of the watery medicine of rose to answer that question. But how is your body feeling? Allowing your intuition to answer, what medicine does rose have to offer me? Continuing to connect as you see fit, switching to writing, documenting, drawing, continuing to sip, whatever calls to you. Making sure you offer your gratitude though, whatever you choose to do, to this moment, to your heart, and to the generosity of this plant ancestor who's come to us today. coming back together in the next couple moments, beginning to wrap up until we can share vocally. Opening up the space for anyone who wants to share anything that's coming through, or any feeling, any story.
I'll start. So I felt Rose, definitely felt what you said, Sochi, felt them on my tongue, drying my mouth up, but felt like a welcomed feeling, given that there's a lot of waters in my body. I noticed that they almost immediately slowed down my heartbeat. And so I felt them very, very immediately in my heart, in that they like just created a sense of spaciousness by just like slowing my heart down. I also felt like the sense of, I don't know, I got the image of like, or like the memory of moments where I've been like, you know, just crying a lot and like in the presence of a loved one, and then like they begin to speak or reflect something back to me and my tears just come to a stop, and there's like a sense of being held by something they said, or just a sense of relief, and a sense of like respite from tears. I felt that sense of companionship from them, and being in like a conversation that offered some relief. And I noticed in my thoughts, I know a lot of my thoughts today have been pretty, and like in the past week, like pretty fear driven, specifically in relationship to my heartache. And it felt, I noticed hopeful thoughts cross my mind in a way that I was like, oh, okay, here's a different way to hold what's happening. And it just kind of happened with a sense of peacefulness. Thank you.
I might share. Um, mm, um, I've always had kind of I'm not sure if it's an aversion to the smell of rose. The smell of rose. I've always had some sort of, I've always kind of been put off by the smell and scent of rose. Maybe it's because it's been like exposed to like artificial ones. And so I think as I was like inhaling and smelling rose, it sat with me differently, in a way that felt really gentle and something that I really wanted to like welcome. Usually I'm like kind of like averse I definitely felt that sense of like dryness in my mouth. I was like, what is that? Um, Dryness. And um, I'm a little distracted right now, receiving some, oh, sorry, whoops. So people are having a hard time hearing me. Um, um, I'm a little distracted right now. I just, some ongoing messages with housing conflict dynamics, and just received a very long email about how I've harmed folks, and think in this moment with like sitting with Rose, I think I'm feeling like my heart, I don't really know how to say it, like being held. I think normally if I receive a kind of message like this, I'd be silent of like and getting kind of lost and ruminating. And I think in this moment, as I was sitting with Rose, I'm kind of being held and being gentle with myself rather than really self-deprecating and really self-hating. A lot to hold right now, and I'm really grateful that Rose is here. Thank you all for holding.
I think I just want to name a few things. I love how Rose tastes, like every day. And so the first, like, also I love that the way that like Rose gives their color away. Like, I think that's something about that is so special. And I felt them go to my thyroid, which is an interesting site on my left, my right thyroid. Um, yeah, my sister has thyroid cancer, and it's a very, very strange, it's not functioning in the normal thyroid cancer world. So, like, I went to the doctor this week, and I hate the doctor, but I need to get blood work to make sure that my thyroid is cool. And so I just felt them with my thyroid. And so that I was like, I kind of was like, I was supposed to go to get blood work today, but the experience with getting blood work, the attempt to get blood work last week was like really awful. So I was like, fuck it, I'm not going. But I felt called to schedule an appointment for Friday and like prepare. So something about like my basic health and I was also eating, and Rose was like, eat, like keep eating. Something about like just making sure my basic needs and my basic health like are cared for. And I'm also like looking for support on like, I know we're on the heart space, but I'm really trying to like make sure this is cool, and if there's any I'm gonna figure out, because I know it's hypo or hyperthyroidism and they're different, so maybe I'll try to figure out which one my sister has, because that's my twin sister. So twins. And then I will definitely reach out for support on what herbs can hold me. But Rose felt with me in that space, so that felt good.
Yeah, I'd like to share. Um, I feel like I had a couple of things going on. So, like a little backstory, like I moved in 9 years. Some friends wanted to move here and they invited me. And me being able to move is because there's like financial stability. And I'm excited for it. And I'm definitely feeling good about that transition. But I've always had like a really hard time with Boston because of that. Because I felt like some friends dragged me out here, then they pieced out a year later, and I was like, wait, this is not where I want to be, and now I can't leave. And Rose really took me down a journey of like, I don't know if it was Rose or the drumming or everything combined, but just like all of these really beautiful memories that I actually do have here. That just brought like a lot of tears to my eyes. Yeah. And then I also had this like weird feeling where Rose was like settling in my breasts, and it's just like a body part that I like really struggle with, and like wanting to have them removed, but also being like very afraid of like surgery. So yeah, but like didn't feel bad. It just felt like that's where they were resting. Thanks, y'all.
I'll share a little because I felt like I wasn't, I don't know, fully there in the beginning, but yeah, I feel like it kind of was sort of like took the edge off a little bit, kind of softened my chest. It's been feeling really tight, and it kind of loosened that, and I feel like it sort of just clarified, like validating feelings. Like questions kept coming up, like or like affirmations, I guess, like there's a reason why I have these feelings coming up. It's not like I'm just making them happen. I mean, maybe, but yeah, I just felt really very softening, and I was surprised by that. So yeah, that's all I have to share.
I'm going to share a little bit about them. As always, I'm really humbled to your shares and how I'm always humbled. I'm like, y'all, I don't know how you do it. How I feel like I began this journey a little while ago. So like, I'm like, oh yeah, it took me a while to be able to talk about plants in this way and to really trust what I was experiencing. And just you trust it and you share it with a group of people every time so beautifully and with such courage. And just I want to let you know that that's beautiful, and it's a reclamatory process, right? Every time you share, every time you allow, I think, the world around you to move you, and to open you. I think it's an act of resilience, and so I'm just grateful you're experiencing whatever all the things you're getting to experience. Rose, actually, maybe in my experience this time around, I'm really sleepy. I feel a softening and water, like not like at the not like verge of tears. I feel like I'm water. And water don't give a fuck. Water's just like, I'm gonna go flow around. And right now it's like, I'm flowing to sleep. I'm really dreamy right now, which I think is part of the medicine that I specifically have been needing, because my heart's been doing so much work. And And so we'll talk a little bit about rose and why I think that I'm responding specifically in this way and why I wanted to share it. So rose's botanical name or government name, Rosa SPP. And so whenever in a botanical name where you're doing research on plant and you read SPP, it means many species. It means many species are medicinal of this variety, or we're talking about many species of this variety. And so I wrote Rosa SPP because we work with actually a lot of different rose varieties medicinally. And so the beach rose that you were talking about, Alicia, are Rosa Regosa, which is one of my favorite roses varieties. And the rest of us mostly we're working probably with Multiflora or Centiflora, ¿cómo se dice? Centifolia. And the rose family, other homies in this family, apples, pears, almonds, peaches, plums, apricots, cherries, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries. It's like a whole crew of heart healers and feeders and thorny creatures that teach us about protection. They're amazing. We were generally working with the rose petals, the hips, and less commonly, but also medicinal, the roots. And we generally want to be harvesting when they're luscious, when they're bright and colorful. I generally work with the Regosa, which is bright pink, and roses that are in the pink variety. It's just part of my practice, and the practice of most people who I know make herbal medicine. But I'm curious if you work, because a lot of like the yellow varieties of roses and the red varieties of roses that we find ornamentally are sprayed with pesticides and insecticides and things like that. So I think maybe that's part of why that's the practice. They love growing everywhere. Their bushes grow on forests to hillsides to beaches, all the way from Eurasia to southern Africa to North America. Their roses are everywhere. They have been cultivated and stewarded and just in such ridiculous and beautiful ways and documented in Eastern Asia, specifically China, Japan, and Korea. Geographic borders of China, Japan, and Korea. And so the earliest roses are known to have flourished 35 million years ago. 35 million years ago. We talked a little while ago when we were working with reishi, that reishi, the fungi variety, are what I think we said 10 million years old, or was it 10 billion? I don't remember. Y'all gotta remind me, but I get stunned by this like number so often. They're old. They're mad old. So rose hips were found in European and in petrified rose wreaths have been unearthed in Europe. 35 million year old like hips have been found in Europe, and petrified rose wreaths. I don't know if they were in the head or they were adornments to homes or statues, or unearthed in Egyptian tombs. Chinese and Egyptian communities believed to have been the first to cultivate roses around 5,000 years ago, the variety that we're working with now. They've been cultivated to have more petals. And so, Tara's telling us that they have the Nupta rose in Portland. The roses in their wild form, and you'll notice them and I feel like even when we go in the forest, we don't even notice the roses. We're just like, oh, a cute little white flower that kind of might be a blackberry, it might be some kind of berry. It's actually a rose bush, right? Roses in their wild form have 5 petals, which is, if you do sacred numerology, please educate me more and share more with us about it. But I know 5 is the number of healing in the Mexicayo, and then some Yoruban cosmology. It's just like the number of healing. 3 is cool, 4 is amazing. They all have their own medicine, but 5 is like the number of deep ass healing. And I feel like Rose brings that deep ass healing situation. Native communities of the Eagle, aka Northern tribes, work with rose infusion specifically to treat inflammation and diarrhea. Folks of the Condor, which are more northern than the Eagle folks, which are more in the like more like southern U.S. and Mexico, work with Rosa Carolina and Gallica to treat high fevers, poisonous conditions, eye medicine, easing labor pains, and decoctions of the roots to treat sexually transmitted illnesses, including syphilis. And so this magic ancestor is awesome. Spiritually, you have so many beautiful offerings already that you've tapped into about them. They, to me, more on their plant magic or spiritual uses. They embody spiritual love to me. They have this capacity to open our hearts while also protect them. And I just think that both are necessary, right? What happens when an ecosystem is closed up, right? When it's insular, it becomes really susceptible to illness, susceptible to being wiped out, right? Open systems have a capacity to adapt. Open systems have a capacity to be resilient when drastic changes happen in their environment. And so what happens when we think of ourselves and our heart and our emotional body as an open system? We don't grow up in temporality where openness is valued necessarily, right? And we also protected ourselves for hundreds of years as folks of color, as Black folks, and as intersectional folks, rightly so, right? And so this plant ancestor wants to create that safety by planting those thorns, and not around your heart, but around your sphere, so that nothing, so you can feel how you need to feel, and feel where you need to feel, and feel when you need to feel, and so that you're held during that time. And so, because of that capacity, I feel like it opens us to an expansive love. I find that when I work with Rose consistently, and I get to feel all the things I need to feel, I'll look at an object differently. I'll look at a person differently, a situation differently, and often with a lot more compassion and a lot more love. They help us to embrace devotional practices of being of service, I find. They've been really supportive to me in setting psychic and spiritual boundaries with people, with energy vultures, but also right now actively with my family. Something I'm working on. It's been really hard. So working with Rose, and I work with Rose in many ways by working as infusions, like we're doing. That's what I'm doing tonight. I'm actually doing an infusion and not a tea. I needed a lot more because I've been holding a lot today. As infusions, as your rose water, right? But also like the way that I'll make an offering every day, a really humble offering. I'll offer cornmeal or tobacco. I'll incorporate rose petals into my offering when I'm working on that prayer, protection, or boundary setting. They're a supportive ally, right? For all spiritual and emotional ailments, from heartbreak to heartache to grief to loss. I find that they ease the heart when I call it heart plagues, when we're being plagued by anger or frustration, when we just are experiencing too much of it. And I'm not brought up in the traditions of like the sacredness of hair and braiding. Well, not braiding, yes, but not braiding like the way that some of my folks who practice candomblé talk about. And I know that some folks in the Yoruban and Candomblé community work with rose as a body and hair wash to call on the element of love and compassion and to invoke Oshun. Native siblings, the Okanagan and the Kolbi folks used also rose as body and hair wash for folks in Sweat Lodge. Yeah, they're so beautiful. I have so much to say about their spiritual workings. And so I'll share a little bit about their medicinal uses now, though, so I don't ramble. I'm going to keep myself here. They are intimately bound to the heart and the circulatory system. And those are our system. That's our system this month that we're zooming into, right? That we're gonna give some extra attention to. Specifically, they are cardiovascular blood tonic. And that's mainly the rose hips, the hips themselves, which are I believe are out and are going to be out mostly in August, at least in the Northeast. They ease the hearts of the muscle. They ease and strengthen the heart of the muscle. So they tonify, right? Tonify means nourish and restore. They treat high blood pressure as well as poor circulation. They're eating to diabetes. They are supportive to the respiratory system. You'll often find you'll find me being like, oh, it's so hard to talk about one system without the other, because compartmentalizing is not the indigenous way, and it's not the way of the land. It's not the way that of how we exist in this, like really exist in this realm. And so all systems are really intertangled, and you really can't really support one and not support the other. You find they're working together, right? They're like, we need all community members, right? What happens when one community member isn't nourished, right? It harms the whole community. And so this plant ancestor is working with the heart and the circulatory system, but also the respiratory and genital urinary. In the respiratory system, because they're antiviral and have antibacterial properties and are chock filled, and you can check out their active constituents in the profile list, are chock filled with vitamin B, C, K, calcium, potassium, antioxidants, all this yumminess that we need to like not be ill, but also to like be healthy and stay immune. They treat cold sores, the cold, the flu, and other respiratory tract infections, including supporting fevers and chills, and also offering oral health care, like treating inflamed gums. To the genital urinary system, they support irregular menstruation. Not really not as in amenagog, like bringing menstruation, but once you've brought menstruation back, helping to keep it flowing at a place that is regular, with quotation marks, whatever is regular to your body and your experience. They work to relieve congestion in the menstrual cramps and pelvic congestion, in support of the bark, easing labor pain specifically. And you can have infusions of that or chew on the bark while in labor specifically. They're a liver relaxant as well. They want to clean out your gut. And what I'm physically experiencing is that they're easing the nerves, specifically of supporting depressed and anxious state. They also can treat pain caused by stagnation and are a wound healer. They really love working topically on the skin. You'll see a lot of herbal magic products made with rose water or rose being infused in it, rose hip oil, etc., etc. They can be really blood moving, and so if you are if you're working with someone or you yourself are trying to keep a pregnancy, they're not the homie to go to. On the other hand, if you're really trying not to keep a pregnancy, you want to work with rose petal and rose bark and yarrow and Queen Anne's lace and parsley and black cohosh, basically all the amenagogues, all those plants that want to push blood out of you and clear you out. And so the heart works so hard. They work so hard. Well, next week you'll be connecting a little deeper with the physical actions of the heart. But the heart works so hard to distribute blood to every organ, which carries oxygen, which carries vitamins, which carries life force, which, our blood is our water, right? Like carries water, carries all. So it carries memory, it carries the 7 generations, it carries breath, it carries sustenance, right? This heart works so hard, so hard, so hard. And so it is deserving of that rest, and it is deserving to feel ease and sweetness. And so some of the recipes I include, I I give some, you can do so much with rose. I don't even think I include, I just like name a couple things. I like to prepare like rose chocolate in the fall for myself. I make rose lemonades for myself in the summer. Rose honey has saved my life multiple times. Infusing rose, specifically Rosa rugosa, in honey, letting it steep for like 3 weeks and then begin to just nibble on it is super divine. I include some photos of rose hips and a couple of varieties of roses that I like working with. They're so pretty. Please look at those varieties. Rose is magical. I feel like as we're choosing plant ancestors to connect with, this plant ancestor, I just feel like it's just so accessible to so many people and to so many hearts and across so many traditions because they're so ancient. They've been here for so long supporting us that I just feel like they're a staple. Like if you can cook with rose and spice your salad or whatever you make with rose, like just to trying to include them in your life would be, I strongly recommend it. I love them so much. And I love you so much. And so this last little bit of colonial time that we have together, I want to connect with the heart chakra itself. My heart is feeling like, yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Mel got to experience the rose garden in Roxbury. It was so beautiful. Yes, hibiscus, rose and damiana. That sounds really powerful. Bye, Anju. Beautiful. That sounds really yummy and powerful. I want to hear all your rose recipes and heart recipes. The heart is a really yummy place if you haven't yet started to make physical herbal medicine. It's a really yummy place to begin to make medicine for yourself and other people. And so I'm feeling like we've had a lot of heart opening and sharing. And so where I want to go is I want to move to just a gentle heart connection as I share a little bit about this energetic center. This is energetic center. Each module, we're like living in it. Whether you read any of the articles or like however you connect, I feel like we all live it. It's part of the sort of the intention. Nature is so beautiful, and also like I line the beginning of this journey so that each seasonal transition is held by this energetic center, because it's wild. It is wild how much heart communication is happening right now with us. Venus is doing this magical thing right now, so these questions on love and how we want to be loved and reorienting our lives around towards love and are coming up right now. Like it's no accident you're having these conversations with yourselves and your beloveds in your lives. It is no accident that my heart is grieving in a way that I'm like, oh, that was 2 weeks ago, and 2 weeks I haven't grieved in this way, now it's back. Like it's no accident. Right now Venus is doing that magical thing. And so take Anahata, which is the Sanskrit name for the heart chakra, as an opportunity to just breathe into what's going on in my physical heart, what's going on in my love life, right? And what does love mean in my life too? Love life doesn't have to be a romantic or sexual relation. It's what is my relationship to loving myself, right? My loving relationships to other people, but also to all beings, right? And all spirits. And so this next little bit, calling you to just get into a position that makes you feel good, whatever that means. That position for me always involves putting something right in my lower back and basically elongating my spine and releasing the tension in my spine. But also, let's face it, it's a pelvic position. Both of those two make me feel really good. And in that position, find a way to connect to your heart, like physically. Like if that position allows you to hold your heart, it would be beautiful. If it doesn't, maybe placing a pillow, a stone, a situation on it that allows on your heart space that allows you to like really be there physically in the heart. And so on our creating our container, there's some documentation you can go back to, some resources on the ancient practice of Reiki, of harnessing the energy, universal energy, and holding it within. And so rubbing our hands together. Rubbing our hands together, trusting in this breath, trusting in this moment. Claiming that our heart is deserving, period. You can finish that sentence if you need it to be a sentence, but honestly, I don't need it to be a sentence right now. I just need to remember that my heart is deserving. I'm rubbing. And when you feel called to stop the rubbing, sense into the vibration created between your fingertips. Rationalize that static, but really is more than that. It's you touching your subtle body and the energy around you. Bring that energy around you that has those uplifted, elevated ancestors, that has the medicine of rose, that has the siblings in the circle who have witnessed you open your heart and are witnessing you these 9 months of gestation, and laying your hands on your heart space. Breathe. Give whatever breath you need to give in this moment to that heart space. Maybe they're long, maybe they're short. I'm not sure. I'm not in your heart. Give what your heart needs. Anihata translates to the unstruck. This is the freedom that rings when spirit is in rightful place. This energetic center is our original form. Love. The heart is the bridge between the terrestrial, aka the earth, the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, and the celestial centers, the throat, the third eye, the crown. The heart is where they all meet. Colonialism sees stories in linear time, sees movement in linear time and linear motion. Things move from bottom to up, top to bottom. But really, they're always spiraling with each other, and they're finding new points to meet. And our energy comes from below the earth's core, Chachihuicle, her heart, her volcanic heart. When we have our feet planted on the earth or our tailbones, we're breathing into that connection. Our roots are extending down into the earth's core, holding us strong like a tree, like a maple, like a sequoia, like a savia. And we hold our chests open, our heart open to whatever is going on in this plane. And our heads high, being held by the star people, right? Being strung up by the star, the celestial realm. In that very moment, we literally are in the embodiment of this center, of Anihata, the heart. We are the heart in that moment, or the bridge. At this bridge, we transmute. We transmute those two worlds, those two separated worlds, or seemingly separated worlds, the sky and earth. And we get to swim in love. And love holds tension, but love holds humility. Love holds compassion. Love holds many stories. Love grieves, lets goes, surrenders, has reverence for itself and others. this center, we're being invited to witness the truth of our spirit and what we're here to do. Not through the lens of the I, not through the lens of capitalistic success or doing as in human doings. Or with the lens of love. Here we're being asked to acknowledge that spirit is within us. It's not something that's outside of us. We're being asked to remember that if we are the embodiment of love, and love is spirit, then we are spirit too. Anihata is here to remind you that the medicine is already within you. This cycle, you're encouraged to connect with this heart, the one inside of you, knowing that it radiates out 8 feet in diameter from you. When you feel anxious, it goes 8 feet from you. It hits your cat, your plants, your spouse, your friends, your new friends, the grocery clerk. But so does your love. It radiates out of you. So journey with Anihata this month, this cycle. Know that there are many deities for many of our traditions to tap into, who embody love or have lessons on love. Know that it's our life's work to learn what it means to be truly compassionate with ourselves and others and the world that we live in. Connect with the physical part of your heart by breathing into them, by offering them cleansing breaths, offering them tons of massages with oils and sacred waters. Remember to give thanks. Remember to grieve. So you're holding your heart, and if you're not already massaging it, we're bringing some massage to your heart space. Inhaling in, I accept unconditional love. I accept unconditional love. I accept unconditional love from the earth, from the elements, from the people I walk with. Inhaling in and exhaling out. Feeling free to inhale and exhale as I offer a little
Just some words before we transition to closing. My prayer is that you continue to connect with this sacred heart inside of you, whether it's physically laying hands on you, massaging them, or massaging your back heart. I want to remind us that we have the heart doesn't just live in front of us, it's also behind us. That's why the concept of being backstabbed is so hurt, is so harsh. Is that a heart can get, you know, punctured and ruptured from our backs too, it's not just the front that it can break from. And so these next couple of weeks before we gather next, you'll be presented with a loving kindness meditation, which was presented to me through some of my yogic posture trainings. And I say yogic posture because it was a yoga teacher training, but you can't get trained in a philosophy in 200 hours. And so it's a practice that has helped me and is helping me expand my heart. And I invite you to invite it into your life right now. If you're whatever you're experiencing, I feel like it'll be supportive. And I encourage you to invite some of the heart ancestors into your life. They're so delicious and they're so yummy, and they're just here to do good work with you, you know. And over and over, I'm gonna keep saying, you know, I appreciate you, Naomi, for so many reasons, and so many just existing, and for naming, you know, like being like, yeah, you know, this thing came up for me. This plant ancestor brought up this healing I have to do, and I was like, all right, I nodded at it, but I don't have to do it right now. Let the heart plants, the plants connected to our heart space, let them show you the spaces of healing that you need to do. Let them show you the healing that you've done. Let them show you the healing that you're already doing. And let them bring you compassion to all of that, because you're working so hard all the time, and you don't need to be so hard on yourself. It's a healing journey, you know, not a healing perfect. And so I'm grateful to have gathered with you tonight, and I feel excited to hear how your connection with the heart goes, and how your transitions in your life continue to flow, and how you practice boundary setting and protection as you journey with them. And so we're going to close up this practice, close up las direcciones. I'll leave the chat open after we close the directions. If folks want to stay to connect, just I'll give the cue, and you can do heart, you know, check-ins with each other. Well, let's close together so it happens. So, standing, if that's within your body's capacity at the moment. I know getting up wasn't cute right now for me. I feel like super cracked. I'm like cracking everywhere from sitting for so long. So just acknowledging your body, you know, acknowledging where you're at. And so facing the east gate, we come here, the Mexica guardian that lives here, Quetzalcoatl, we come here, Quetzalcoatl, to close up your gate so we may sleep well, and so the good work that we've done here be sealed. Before that, we want to offer our gratitude to you. Want to offer our gratitude to you for holding space for our new beginnings, and naming new truths or naming old truths that just haven't been named out loud, and helping us to see ourselves with a little more compassion than we did when we came in, helping us access feelings that maybe we weren't able to access before, helping us access words that we may not have been able to access before, helping us just start, you know,
start and keep starting every moment. Our prayer, we invite you to go to rest after this night, and we invite you in the next couple of weeks to visit us ever so often, helping us continue to meet that beautiful seed within us, and meet the hope and the dreams that we deserve to plant into this world. And so, with much humility and gratitude to you, sacred direction of the East and the keepers of the East Gate, we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Chest up to you, heart up to you, sweet direction of the South, to the guardian, Uchirapochli. Thank you so much for bearing witness on us and for bringing all the warriors to play with us, the warriors that spot truths in our shares, and the warrior Rose who just like refused to quit, refused to quit. Thank you for making it through so many iterations and so thousands of years of adaptation and of human modification and just climate change and all the things to be here in this moment, to hold us, to gift us sedation, to gift us sensation, to gift us holding. And to all the warriors that we're walking with, the juveniles in our lives, teens in our lives, and the people in their early 20s in our lives, and those of us who are transitioning out of that, just offering gratitude to the warrior spirit that we bring into spaces where we continue to feel that warrior spirit. And may your warrior spirit tonight feel held and, and at rest, because you're deserving of that too, warriors. And so much love, humility, and gratitude to the great sacred direction of the South. We say thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Mateo to the great direction of the West, to the house of intuition, to the house of the uncertainty. Gratitude, Chupitotek, for being present with us tonight. Gratitude for sorting us from beautiful sun to darkness here on the East Coast where I'm on. And so many of us are on, just giving gratitude for bearing witness, for holding us in this transition, this collective rebirthing that is happening, this collective new human that is being born. We are actively in that process right now. And thank you for, all the medicine that you keep bringing to us, with all those new spaces forming and the old spaces continuing to be, to all those people who are being fed by the people of uncertainty, by the people who've known moments like this before, and to all the elders who survived moments like this before, who are out here sharing their palabra, their word with us, so we may remember that we are going to survive these times too. We have gratitude to all those who were taken from us too soon. We have gratitude to the memory of Breonna Taylor, bringing her up specifically a lot today. She came up for me a lot. It's been 155 days since she's been taken from us, and you're not forgotten. We'll continue to say your name and continue to fight for our siblings and say their name while they're alive as best as we can. And just giving gratitude to all the gender rebels, all of our Two-Spirit, all of Black trans, and all of our siblings who have held medicine in our own traditions with such reverence, and with such humility. And so may you continue to be the case. And for those of us who identify in that line, may we continue to step into that power, knowing that we come from a really strong line of keepers. And so much love, humility, and gratitude to the intuition, to the fruition, to the celebration, to the uncertainty, and all the magic in this direction. We offer a humble word of affirmation saying, I stretch my heart out to you, sweet direction of the North. We stretch our hearts out to you, sweet direction of the North. Gratitude to you for walking with us, ancestors. We at this moment send you back to the spaces you rest. We send back all those that were enlightened that are walking with us. And if anyone has come who is not enlightened, an ancestor from one of our lineages, or for the lands that we're on, who just needed to be remembered, we also send you back. Because we're not here to do your work right now. We need to be doing our own work and our heart healing work. And so we send you back to rest, and we'll check in on you when it makes sense again. To the sacred direction of the North, to the ancestors who are resting, who are doing their good work of resting, reminding us that we get to do that soon too. We offer our gratitude to you for being a part of this evening with us and being a part of our medicine journey. We ask that you show up to this heart journey in this next month, in this cycle, with a lot of gentleness. These hearts feel so much, and so we ask for gentleness. We ask for gentleness. We ask for compassion. We ask for compassion like we've never felt before for ourselves, so that we may be able to offer that to those around us. May we be able to offer what we offer to others to ourselves. And may we just feel loved in every moment and every breath, and many more moments and many more breaths. To the great ancestors and keepers in this direction of the ancestors and the great direction of the rest, we offer humble gratitude, saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, Mateo. I stretch out to you, sky people, star people, angelic ones, star ones, and planet ones, to those planets that are actively watching under us, watching over us, these cycles. We give gratitude to you. We give gratitude to you, to the meteor showers coming, to Venus doing all the playful things right now. We give gratitude to you for all the love in the air. Give gratitude to you for the witnessing. We give gratitude for the moon waning and going back and folding back into herself, so that we may learn from that medicine too, that we don't always have to be shiny and bright, and in our projects and in the community and out there, we can be silent. We can retreat into ourselves. It's actually a necessary part of all healing journeys. It's actually a necessary part of most experience, most being experiences. Solitude is an important part of it. May we find more of that as we wane with you, Luna, and may we go outside more often, at night. So many people have been hung, so many people have been taken from us for observing the nighttime, for being out at the night, for not being scared of darkness. And so it's a reclamatory process to be out at night, if it's safe, where you live and in your communities. Safety meaning a lot of different things in this context. Please go out and enjoy the stars from a balcony or from your window, whatever feels right. But enjoy the magic happening above us, and give gratitude to the sky people and the star people for holding us, for witnessing us tonight, and continue to witness our medicine walk, our warrior walk. Much love, humility, and gratitude to the expansiveness of the star people. We say thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Sure. Coming down to you, such a mama Tonantzin, Tonantzin Kwalikwe, Tonantzin Tlali. Oh, Mateo, sweet mother, we come to give our gratitude to you for holding us. We're holding this gathering to you and the keepers of the land and the stewards of the land presently, who tend to the waters and tend to the food, the growing of our food. We offer our gratitude for allowing us to hold this healing space tonight. Our goal is that it ripples. It ripples to all those who need it and all those who are open to it. And to those who aren't open yet, may they open soon. For these times need us all to be working on some healing work. And so, to you, Great Mother, we give gratitude for all of the medicine you offer to us and all the medicine you offer tonight. We take that medicine, we integrate it inside of us, into our pores, and we pour it back into our communities and into their people in our lives and the animals and the plants in our lives. We're here to be of service, and we're not here to keep the medicine. We're here to spread it. And so continue to feel into us and continue to remind us to come low to you, to protect you, to feel our heart on you, and to feel restored and just fully loved by you. Fully loved by you. Much love, humility, and gratitude to you, Sacred Mother, who is just so generous and just so giving. We say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Coming to the center, allowing any yawn that needs to come out or any body movement that needs to be a part of the story right now. May the center be over your heart space or your belly space, wherever it needs to be. Give gratitude to the sweet center here. It's no accident that the center is at the heart space. In the Mexikayo, when we're closing or greeting the center, we're facing the sacred fire. And the sacred fire
is the fire on earth, Tonantu, the sun on earth, but also the volcanic heart, or the heartbeat, which is the earth's core, which is a volcanic space, volcanic stone, and lava situation happening up in there. And so the center is the heart. The center is the fire, that collective fire. Not like a fire like in the solar plexus that is blazing, trying to like do all the things and like be here and poof. It's that fire that is so ancient. You don't gotta work that hard to just be. Just like, I'm so massive. I'm just here. No wind, no tsunami, nothing can shake me or burn me out. So as we close the center today, we give gratitude to the strength of this collective fire. Give gratitude to the strength of what it means to gather in community, and to have the strength of this circle ripple into your other relations and your other circles, and more community and more gatherings. And the strength of this fire remind you that you're not alone gathering tonight. We are not alone gathering tonight. That we are connected to so many sacred gatherings and so many circles and so many people remembering, choosing to remember, choosing to listen to the earth's manda, demand that we remember, demand, like calling that we remember. For if we don't remember, we'll be extinct. And so she's like, you got to remember. For those of you who don't remember, I'm sorry, but this isn't going to be a good time. So may we continue to remember, and in our remembering, may we hold our hearts with tenderness. If we choose to be out in the streets, may we hold ourselves with tenderness. When we choose to be in relations, may they be tender. If we choose to be, alive today, may it be more tender than it was yesterday. Today I offer myself a little more honey than the last. Today I speak to myself, and I, with more honey than the last. Today I observe my thoughts, and I try to bring honey to them whenever I can, And so may your journeys of the center bring us closer and closer together, knowing it is the we that we're here for. It is the we that will be liberated together. It is the we that is just so strong, and that was present tonight. And so much gratitude to the showing up of the center, the breath of the center, the laughter in the center, the new loves in the center, the grief in the center, the pain, the transition in the center, the loss, the heartbreak, the heartache, the heart growing, the evolution, transmutation, and all in between. We give a humble gratitude to it by saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Breathing in, holding, rubbing, however you want to relate to that physical heart space. May your relations be just so yummy over these next weeks until we gather next. Feeling free to share any medicine journey in our chat, and reach out if you need any support or any space held for you or witnessing. I love you so much. I wish you just such a good medicine in this walk that you're on. For those of you who want to stay to talk to another sibling, feel free to stay. We'll open up chats in 2 minutes. For those of you who are in 2 minutes, that will be the thing. If you're piecing out, let us, you can say goodbye, or you can just log off. I love you all. I'll send the self-practice by tomorrow. Good night to those who are needing to leave. Love you all so much. Be so well. Take so much care. Much love to you. Much love to you. Yeah, I'm pretty sleepy too, Mel.